Hey folks, Pat here from DNS. This Madison area fishing report is current as of July 22nd. Before we get started, just wanted to let everybody know, I made a post about this yesterday, but Dane County Parks is hosting a youth fishing event at Stewart Lake County Park. This is a free event tomorrow, Saturday, the 23rd, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. If you got a kid between kindergarten and 8th grade, you can take them down there. They got little stations set up to teach kids all about fishing, and the first 150 participants get a free rod and reel and little selection of tackle. So if you got a kid you're looking to get into fishing, this is a great way to do it. So yeah, go check that out, and thanks to Dane County Parks for hosting events like that. As far as news around the shop, still no Hellgramites. I'm really not thinking that's going to happen this year. So I guess it's been a weird year for them, and I got several folks out that are looking for them for me, but no reports of any coming in anytime soon. So we'll see, though. Fingers crossed, I guess. Weather this week's been hot and dry. We've got some rain in the forecast for tomorrow, but otherwise next week looks pretty nice with temps in the low 80s. The Mendota buoy is at 76.5 degrees right now, so lake temps holding steady pretty much from last week. Generally, fishing around the chain's been good. They're getting gills out deeper in 15 to 20 feet and on weed lines around on most of the chain. Although I have heard some reports of those gills out suspended on Lake Monona. We can talk about that later. Largemouth bass in weedy areas, smallmouth in 10 to 20 feet of water on rocky breaks, walleyes out on mid-lake humps, and lots of pike around. And the muskie action continues to be, seems like it's picking up a little bit, so that's nice. Up here on Cherokee, it's been, I haven't heard a lot of reports out of there. It's pretty weedy up there these days, and although I do get some folks that go up there with kayaks and canoes that have good reports, action on largemouth on topwater, and then some pike mixed in there. Catfish continue to be a pretty good bite down here to 113 bridge area. And a few walleye and smallmouth mixed in those areas. On Lake Mendota proper, the perch bite's been good. The weed line continues to develop around the lake, and perch continue to be found in those areas. The reports of the size of the fish are getting a little better. I heard a few reports of 10 to 12-inch fish, so that's nice to hear. Just find a weed line, and you'll likely find some fish. So that's good to see that that's finally happening. Largemouth around the lake, topwater action's been good with frogs still being pretty hot. Like I said before, smallmouth on breaks in 10 to 20 feet of water in rocks have been good, and those fish are also mixed in out on the mid-lake humps with the walleyes, which are have been a pretty good bite for walleyes out on the humps. Also heard about some decent walleyes along the city shoreline, and some good perch down there too. Bluegills in University Bay. Tenny Park's been good in the breakwall area there. Always a nice mixed bag of fish. Some good bass coming out of the Yahara River and Tenny Lagoon. Down on Monona, bluegill bites down there has been real good. Folks getting fish out in 15 to 20 feet of water near weeds or any kind of structure has been good. But also getting some fish suspended out over deep water. I've heard reports of bluegills 15 to 20 feet down, over 30 to 50 feet of water, just drifting along out there. The mouth of the Yahara River, I heard of some good bass reports come out of there this week. Down here to the wall, fishing continues to pick up down there. I've had some reports of some real nice crappies coming out of there and some nice bluegills mixed in. Monona Bay, fishing seems to have picked up there a little bit. I've heard a couple of reports of some nice bluegills and some crappies coming out of that area. Lake Wingra had some reports of, the usual tiny gills, but also some more reports of a couple nice perch coming out of the deeper holes down here. I haven't heard much for muskies out of Wingra, but the muskie fishing on Monona seems to have picked up. So a lot of fish coming out of the south end of the lake, but that's good to see those muskie picking up there. Mud Lake, I haven't heard much, but I imagine the bass fishing continues to be good in the shallow areas, and then panfish around the edges of the dredge hole. The trestle area here where the bike path crosses is always a pretty safe bet for any number of species that swim around Lake Wabisa, and got those fishing piers right there, so it gets shore access. Otherwise, same thing with bluegills being found in 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 feet of water all around the lake. Weed edges are good. Heard about some walleyes jigging near Hog Island, and also some walleyes coming out of the Babcock Park area trolling, but that's seems to be getting a little more difficult with weeds and that. Bluegills down near Christie's Landing and Goodland. Haven't heard much out of the south end of the lake here. Down on Keeganza, the bluegill bite that was really hot there for a while, it seems to have slowed a little bit. I have heard of some fish still coming out of there. Some nice gills and a few perch mixed in, but otherwise been pretty quiet. I have heard of, or I haven't heard much about the white bass bite down there either. It was hot and heavy there for a bit, but seems to have cooled as well. Over on Lake Koshkonong, I've heard about some good reports of some walleyes trolling, mostly shorter fish. White bass continue to be hitting down there to Indian Ford. And the reports of decent catfish action coming out of Fort Atkinson and Jefferson. Up on the Wisconsin River, reports out of the Sauk Dam have been good. I did just get a report from my friend John Lyons, who was fishing the Prairie du Sac Dam here and caught a big head carp, which is, an invasive species that DNR and a lot of groups are watching very closely because they can be pretty destructive. But he says that they're not their populations don't have any evidence of them reproducing. So far so good on that front. Otherwise, down the river, I've heard good reports of smallmouth on deeper ends of sandbars. Woody areas also produce anywhere there's some current and deep corners. Lake Wisconsin, I haven't heard a lot in the way of good reports coming out of there. Some folks struggling, trolling out there, but still some fish being caught. Flicker shads seem to be pretty productive. And the water, from what I hear, has been pretty green over there too. I heard some reports of some walleyes from the Wisconsin Dells Dam area, so that's maybe worth a look. Castle Rock Dam and Pettenwell Dam continue to be the mixed bag that they are. Some good catfish coming out of there. As far as the lakes go, I've heard trolling's been a little slower in middays, but a decent mixed bag of fish coming out of there. Jigging for walleyes on lake humps and breaks seems to be productive in the mornings and the evenings, with trolling being a good option in the afternoons. Over to the Mississippi, walleyes have been reported at wing dams and current seams. And I did see one report of some bluegills being caught right up in the rocks in those same areas, some good bluegill action. But otherwise, the sloughs have been producing some good crappies and bluegills back there. Look for wood, and you'll probably find fish. Over to Milwaukee, from what I hear, the trolling bite continues to be pretty rough. They're getting fish, but they got to go way out, a couple miles out to find anything. Shore anglers on the Big Lake, I haven't heard much from. It's a pretty quiet time of year for that. I've heard a few reports of smallmouth in the Milwaukee River. As far as trout fishing goes around the area, been hearing some good reports. Terrestrials are a pretty safe bet with beetles and crickets and ants being a good choice. I did hear a good report from a friend who found some fish on some small hoppers, so it's exciting to hear about hopper season, maybe getting into gear a little early. But I do, with these warm temps, encourage folks to keep an eye on stream temps and don't want to stress those fish. If the temps are over 67 degrees, maybe find something else to do. Other than that, I guess that's the report for the week around here. Post your comments and pics below. Always love to see those. And yeah, call the shop if you have any further questions. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we'll catch you next week. Good luck out there.